Hello guys, today we are going to talk about the process costing. So first we will start with the meaning of process. In manufacturing a product, the raw materials have to pass through several distinct stages of manufacture in a predetermined sequence. Such stage of manufacture is called a process account. So what is the actual definition of process costing? Process costing is used to ascertain the cost of each product at each process stages to manufacture where the process are carried from one process to another process. One process become input for the next process till the finished good of the process we are getting. Example like chemical industry, textile industry, sugar, oil, and cement industry. So what are the different features or characteristics of process costing? Production is carried on in different stages, having a continuous flow. The finished product is the result of two or more processes. Costs are accumulated by different processes. The products are standardized and homogeneous in nature. The finished product of each become the input for the next process in sequence, and that of the last process is transferred to the finished goods account. The sequence of operations or process is specific and predetermined. Normal and abnormal losses may arise during the process, and costs are allocated according to the process wise. Process costing also a version of job costing, but there is a difference between process and job costing. So let's see what are the difference. So in case of process costing, costs are compiled process wise, and the cost per unit will be the average that can be calculated during the process. How to calculate total cost divided by the total units manufactured. In case of job costing, costs are separately ascertained for each type of job. Production is of standardized products and cost units are identical in case of process costing. But in job costing, production is of non-standardized with a specification and instructions from the customer. Production is for stock in case of process costing, but in case of job costing, production is against the order from the customers. In case of process costing, costs are computed at the end of the each process. But in case of job costing, costs are calculated when a job is completed. In process costing, the cost of one process is transferred to the next process, but in case of job costing, it is not transferred. In case of process costing, it is a continuous in nature, but its job costing is not a continuous in nature. In case of process costing, cost control comparatively easier, but in case of job costing, it is not much easier. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of process costing? So advantages like costs are computed periodically at the end of each particular time. Process costing helps in preparation of tenders and quotations. It is easy to allocate the expense to processes in order to have accurate cost. Use of standard costing system is very effective. Processes are simple and involve less clerical work than job costing. What are the disadvantages? Cost obtained at each process is only historical cost and are not very much useful to reflect the control. A work in progress is done on estimated basis, which leads to inaccurately in total cost calculation. Process costing is based on average cost method, which is not suitable for performance analysis. Individual product cost may be taken as only approximation and hence not reliable. The computation of average cost is more difficult in those cases where more than one type of products are manufactured. So let's talk about the process losses. Losses are also in occurring due to negligence of labor, poor quality of the raw materials, poor technology, etc. So we are having different types of losses. So what are the types of losses? We are having normally normal loss, abnormal loss, and abnormal gain. So what is normal loss? The amount of loss which cannot be avoided. So it is one type of unavoidable loss. So it is known as normal loss. And how to calculate cost per unit equal to total cost increased minus sale or scrap value minus normal loss divided by normal loss unit. How to calculate the abnormal loss? It is happening due to abnormal reasons like the machine breakdown, buyer executed. So how to calculate the abnormal loss? Total cost minus value of normal loss divided by units manufactured minus normal loss in units. So there we will get the cost per unit, and we can multiply that cost per unit with the abnormal loss unit. We will get the amount of abnormal loss. What is the abnormal gain? The actual loss sometimes may be greater or less than the normal loss. If actual loss is greater than the normal loss, it is known as abnormal loss. But suppose if the actual loss is less than the normal loss, then it will create a gain. So how to calculate that? It is the same way. First, we need to calculate the cost per unit. So to formula is total cost minus the value of normal loss, which we have to divide with units manufactured minus normal loss in units. So from there, that formula, we will get the cost per unit. And same like abnormal loss, we have to multiply this cost per unit with the abnormal gain units, and we will get the abnormal gain. So normal loss and abnormal loss, we need to record into the credit side of the process account, but abnormal gain, we need to record into the debit side of the process account. So normally process account, we are having two sides, debit side and credit side. Debit side, we are recording all the expenses, and credit side, we are recording normal loss, abnormal loss, and then remaining amount, whatever it will be there, we need to transfer to the next process. So like that way, you can prepare process 1, 2, 3, and onwards. And the last process when we will prepare, the remaining amount we need to transfer to the finished goods account. So we will stop here today. Next class, we will explain what are the different types of problem are there and how to prepare the process account. Thank you.